So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Youth Development Program hosted every month by Rotary Club of Noida Elegance. The concept behind the program is to give opportunities to these youth leaders so that they can blossom into better public speakers, get opportunities to develop life skills, and understand the importance of contribution towards society. What could be the better way for for Rotarians to provide such opportunities to our children where they can learn and grow to become better citizens of India. This is a brainchild of Rotarian Devesh Mohan, who has a vision and mission to support 1 million youth and emerging leaders in their growth journey so that they can contribute to self-development and societal development. Every month, we invite youth leaders who are doing exceedingly well in varied fields to share their stories and experiences which inspire everyone to excel in their own choice of field. This month, we have privilege of having Arav Dagar, who is a student of class 12th, Strawberry Crest High School, Hillsborough County, Florida, USA. He is also a national president of Future Business Leaders of America. So welcome, Arav, and thank you so much for making time to be with us today in this episode number 1. So yeah, Arav, so for me, the first question definitely is in terms of that, because most of us don't know you. So would you like to introduce yourself in terms of what you do and what more about you as a person, Arav? Okay. So
Yeah,
over to
well,
you.
hi everyone. Hi everyone. Thank you for the warm introduction. My name is Rob Degar. I am a senior in high school from Tampa, Florida. Outside of FBLA, a lot of my passions include reading, and I also just enjoy being out with my friends and family, being able to connect with a lot of Indians or people from my culture that don't really, are a part of that culture in India. They're a part of the culture here. So I like to kind of indulge in different cultures and identities. That's a big part of who I am and what I like to do outside of school. Outside of my interests, I'm really passionate about public service and government. So that's what kind of led me into FBLA. But I really enjoy being, looking at how our government functions, some functions of society, and all of that.
Oh, great. Thank you, Arav. That's like at a young age, you have been quite confident and quite trying to work upon in terms of in different aspects which you can grow as a responsible citizen. So,
Mhm.
Arav, maybe I'm sure everyone would be curious here to know about that what this FBLA is, and so my question to you would be maybe give little bit background about FBLA. What exactly does it mean, and what it does at a larger level within US?
Yeah, so FBLA is a CTSO, which means Career Technical Student Organization. There's over 9 CTSOs in the country of America, and all of them have different purposes. Future Business Leaders of America is all about growing and developing a business skill. So learning how to be good in marketing, advertising, managing, and all of that. That's kind of where FBLA falls in. So FBLA is different from other clubs where we have HOSA, which is all about health and doctors and occupations. FBLA is different from that because FBLA prioritizes business management and leadership. So the organization has over 200,000 students, and they come from all across the country, and they come from other countries as well, including Canada, China, and Haiti. So FBLA does provide that open community to all of its members and all of its students from across the world. So kind of to answer more questions, but FBLA offers competitions, public speaking opportunities, and everything. They kind of do what you're doing here today by bringing student leaders together. So they have conferences, both in person and virtual, where students can come on a Zoom call and network with one another. But for me, it's been really beneficial because I've been able to learn so much about my community and what's available to me across the world.
Wow. That's really great, Arav. And maybe another question related to it is in terms of that you are now the president of FBLA, right? So
Mhm.
what was the process through which you went through to become the president of this particular society?
Yeah, so originally when I joined in 7th grade, which was a long time ago, I never
Okay.
really had an end goal of being the national president. But as soon as you kind of develop the organization and let the organization kind of take a role on you, you do kind of see those qualities of leadership grow within yourself. So that kind of happened with me during sophomore and junior year of high school, so 10th and 11th grade. During those years specifically, I was really able to pursue leadership at the national level by serving under other national officers. So I would be the executive assistant or chief for one of these national officers. And that really taught me a lot because the national officers, there's 9 of them, and they serve over 250,000 members on a yearly basis. So it's quite incredible to see the work that they can do in such a small amount of time. But to kind of become the national president, it really started last year in December. In December, I had to submit a letter of intent to kind of qualify myself and show the Florida Board of Directors, including our chair and our state advisor. I had to get the nomination from Florida. So if you think about it as a political party, I had to get kind of our first round of early nominations because each state can only send up to one candidate for elected positions. So I had to take a test, I had to do an interview, and then the entire board of directors of Florida, they nominated me to go all the way through to our state conference, which is where all of Florida members can come together, and they can talk about business leadership. They can compete in a variety of events, including, website design, which I know is coming up. But they kind of offered that to us, and at that, I got to run for office, which was really exciting. So over 5,000 members were at the Florida conference. And I was running against a few other people who wanted to run for national office. So I ended up winning with over 90% margin of votes, which kind of
Wow.
furthered that I am pretty qualified for the position. But after I got the support from Florida, I then went off to go to the national conference. So I had to submit my application for national office officially with our national center. And then I had to run a campaign of over $1,000. So all of that money was devoted to developing a campaign that was centered around my goals, my pillars. And then I was able to campaign in front of 15,000 people in Chicago, Illinois this past summer. And I was running against another national officer. And that national officer, he is actually an incumbent, which means that he was already a national officer before me. So he had an unfair advantage. I mean, it's kind of fair, but he had an advantage when it came to campaigning and going through the politics of it, that I was still able to vote and get some votes and still win. So it's been great.
Absolutely, yeah. That's like just amazing. This is like you went through a series of process in terms of to make sure that you are the best nomination for in each and every category, and you pass through that nomination in terms of getting selected and move up in the value chain, where finally you proved yourself that you are one of the best there to have this role, and being there from like last 6 years, from 7th onwards, you have been part of this
Mhm.
FBLA, which is like incredible, amazing. I'm sure you yourself, as well as your parents, sibling, everyone would be super proud of you. And I think it needs a good round of clapping from everyone that what you have achieved. So yeah, so maybe everyone can show that sign of clap in case if everyone wants to remain mute. So good. Thank you so much, Arav. This is incredible. And so as a president, Arav, what is the roles and responsibility which you have to carry to be there as a FBLA president?
So our team, our national officer team, I'm also joined by 8 other officers. So we have vice presidents from each region of the country, and then we also have a secretary, a treasurer, and a parliamentarian. So we all kind of work together to keep order for the organization. The organization is a centered national organization in DC. So they also have a staff supporting us, but we also come up with new initiatives and policies. So we're coming up with chapters and initiatives across the world. So one of our biggest goals is to kind of meet people from across the world and kind of share our expertise and knowledge in hopes that they'll join us as an FBLA member very soon. That's one big part. It's all about recruitment, but then we also have a lot of efforts and policies that kind of go into the backhand. So we're working very closely with our communications department to, as you kind of mentioned, enhance our social media presence and bring more people active. So now our Instagram's over 15,000 followers. So we've kind of been working hard at that as well. But other than that, we've just kind of been developing policies, programs, conference material, and things like that for the membership year. But specifically as president, one of my biggest roles is that I get to sit as a board of directors member. So each division president is a board of directors member, which is the highest level of the organization leadership that is offered. The board of directors is comprised of CEOs from all different companies across the world, and also from high school advisors and middle school advisors. So we're really lucky to have, representatives from USA Today and a lot of big other outlets that kind of provide that value and insight to how the career operates. And one of the biggest things is we get to attend these meetings with them. So in fact, this Friday, I will be flying out to DC to go join my first board meeting in person. So that's one of the biggest things that I get to do. And it's really fun to do for me just because it is all about that public policy, that government, and that type of, organization that I really enjoy.
Wow. So, Arav, this is like you are getting prepared for the next round of growth, right? So what are the potential opportunities which are there for you, which you would look forward while you are getting such a huge exposure by being the president of FBLA? What would be those opportunities for you?
Well, FBLA provided me a lot of opportunities for just networking. That's super important because once you kind of see individuals across the nation that are also interested in passions and your interests, then it's really rewarding for you to kind of be involved in that process with them. So I've kind of worked with a lot of different individuals from across the nation that have, been offering job opportunities, internship opportunities, and things like that. So it's immediately gratifying to kind of have all of this support and have all of this momentum with the position. So the organization really does offer that, but it's also offering me so much development when it comes to my skills that I can definitely hone in on when I'm applying to college.
Good, good. And one last questions, and then I will open up for question and answer if someone wants to really hear from you in terms of few other things. So my last question is in terms of that you are in the 12th grade, right? And it would be very demanding for you while managing the entire FBLA piece in terms of focusing there, in terms of pursuing the responsibilities and the requirements of that particular job which needs to be delivered. That's one part. And the second is your studies, how you are really managing and balancing out both the things together, because this is anyways, again, very crucial years for you, right? You have to set your next define your next path in terms of what you want to do in your life. And so how you are managing and doing the balancing job.
So for me, I balance everything just by finding a passion for whatever I do. So for me, FBLA is a passion project, and it's not just that team, but it's so much. But I actually enjoy the work that I do with the organization. So even if I have homework and I'm getting really stressed out, then I can just go to FBLA and do some fun work that means more, or kind of balancing my time with that. For me, I do have a day of the week where I dedicate to just finishing up all my FBLA work, which is today, Sunday, for me. So I kind of work really hard on all of my Sundays to finish up the work and get ready for the week. But I do know that, sometimes during the week, during the school day, I might have meetings and things like that, which I get to attend with everyone else from National Center. So for me, the biggest thing about time management is just really finding that passion. Because at that point, it's not like a chore. It's something that you really enjoy doing. So that's my biggest tip.
Oh, good. So basically, the passion is something which is playing such a critical role, and you just enjoy this out of passion, out of sheer passion which is there, and that really makes you drive this. So that's good, great to know, Arav, and this has been phenomenal in terms of having this discussion with you. And I saw someone raising hand also in terms of if there are some questions or queries, please feel free to ask. And even I have been just thinking that, is there anything very similar to FBLA which is there in India? And any of the Dhruv or Anvi or Arant was there, I think he is dropped, or Janvi, or any child knows about it? Is there anything which is very similar to FBLA in India?
No, uncle, not anything I know of, but I would really be excited to actually get involved or actually understand about something like that in India. Because this is
Yeah.
something I'm also interested in, and I'm sure if we do come across something like this, it will grab a lot of attention from a lot of us.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's what something which was just really in the background. I was thinking that if there is something similar what we do, because I have heard that there is this. Yeah, Dhruv, you wanted to say, add something
I
to
just
this?
wanted to ask something.
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
so, is this FBLA basically a lifelong commitment, or is it till maybe college, or maybe you're having a job till 30s, or is this lifelong, or will you be in it for the long haul, basically?
No. So the organization has 3 different divisions: middle school, high school, and collegiate. So I'm in the high school phase right now. I haven't decided if I want to join the collegiate, but that depends on what university I go to. But for me personally, I would always be interested to kind of go back and help out wherever I can. But I wouldn't really say a lifelong commitment just yet because, and we never know how everything's going to end up in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Mm. Any other question from anyone? Maybe I will flip over because your father is also here, Anuj.
No, I'm really thanks, Devesh. Right now, this particular initiative, right, raised by you right now for this particular uh, ideas, sharing that particular things, what's happening in US, right, how the things are working over here right now, over there, and take something back to the society, right, how we can
Absolutely.
try to give it back to that system over there right now. If somebody wants to inspire and try to make this balanced life, right, that is the most critical part of that. Children nowadays facing the challenge, right, how they balance the life, right, how they can do multiple things, how to take this particular leadership role in the beginning of their initiative or in particular college life or high school life, right, and have to do the things differently and come across that, because now the things are opportunity, how you bring the opportunity. You have the same level of the kids on the same school, but how you come grow up and come ahead of that particular person or kids, right, that is the most important nowadays, right. So these
No,
things
absolutely.
definitely make a lot of changes, lot of things to pick up from that particular kids at this particular age and move forward into that particular area. So this is
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
I'm just hoping that with the new education policy which has come in India, maybe a lot of these things may change, because last month when we have been speaking to all the children, one of the things many of our youth leaders pointed out that the current education system in India just pushes them to mug up lot of things and don't allow them to be curious and creative, right? So that's something which I heard from a lot of you, Dhruv, Anvi, Sanskriti, Arhant, all of you who were there last time. Many of you talked about it. Janvi talked about it. So I think the change in the new education policy, some of these things which probably comes in India, would give us a lot of chance, give our children a lot of chance to really demonstrate these skills, leadership skills, and lot many other soft skills which they can show up at a very early age, rather than we waiting for those moments once we come into the corporate sector. So good. Any other question anyone wants to check?
Go to sleep.
Yeah, Samitra.
Yeah. Yeah, Arav, hats off to you because when you were narrating everything, I was able to correlate it with something in my life, and that reminded me we need to push our kids to go in all these responsibilities because until unless they are in the comfort, they cannot grow. When you are seeing everything, that means you're competing, fighting, you are facing election, and you're also having the fear of rejection. Everything means it's there, so you grow, and that is what you have got this opportunity so early. And I think it's great to hear from you. And that reminded me, in India, I think, yeah, NCC, NSS, and Red Cross is doing something to develop leadership, but the structure is different. They're the government organization, and they are doing. I was also the part of all two of them, so that is there, but this type of exposure is not there. That is
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Soumitra.
Mouse left click.
So Dhruv, I remember sometime back there is some youth Olympiad or something which happens. Is that something very similar, or it's very different than what FBL is?
MUN,
I
MUN.
don't. Achha,
MUN.
MUN. MUN is a different thing. MUN is I forgot the full form of it, but it's basically a basically student parliament, we can say. It's what happens when basically a school organizes it and students from other schools participate in it as some form of political figure, and they talk about issues that are maybe international or national level, maybe even state level. And basically how well you talk, how well you rate, how good of a public speaker you are, it all depends on it. That's what it is. Not similar to FBLA. FBLA is more like, I think, recruitment and networking opportunities. In MUN, it's basically just a competition. That
Yeah. Model
basically.
United Nations. Yeah, I did it in 8th grade. But it did very much help me with an FBLA because it does give you the leadership.
It helps with public speaking and all.
Okay, great. Good. Thank you, Arav. Thank you so much for being here and spending some time of yours with all of us. And I think it's an opportunity for everyone. With this, we will be doing this on a monthly basis. We continue to do this. If you want to join us in future also, please feel free to join, because we will have our youths from different spheres who would be there part of this. So thank you, Arav. And now let's move on to the next part, which is about thanks, Kiran, for showing that clapping sign in terms of that everyone should clap for Arav for taking out his time and talking to us. So
I just
good.
also wanted to say it was absolutely a
Yes.
privilege to listen to Arav, and hats off to you. Arav, amazing. You're doing a wonderful job. In fact, while you were talking, I was trying to see who are the people I can connect you to. And I will let Devesh know of some interesting people who might be the right connects for you in your growth journey in America. So in fact, I was just looking at my friend who's with Street Law as the executive director, as well as he was with the Youth Foundation director for that. So I was thinking that these are the kind of people that you want to be networking with, because you're already doing this. So you want to be growing, and there will be ample opportunities as part of the Youth Foundation to showcase your talents. So it's very exciting. Congratulations on winning. That was amazing. I loved it. Loved the entire part of it. Thank you. And I'm now looking forward to Dhruv's session because of that. I told all my students to be here for that.
Yeah, so good. So I see some comments from Hemant. Hemant looks like he has dropped, but he also says that it was great to hear Arav. And so okay, over to Dhruv now. Dhruv, can you share your?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Just wait a minute.
We're all here to learn, so we would love to step by step.
Just a second.
So by the time Dhruv is pulling up his presentation and showing in sharing mode,
Yeah, you can
uh,
see it.
yeah, it's just coming. Yeah.
So for everyone who doesn't know me here, I'm Dhruv Varshney. I'm currently a BTech student in I'm doing computer science in MIT University, Noida. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just telling I'm just telling everyone how to make a website in simple terms, or how you can make a website even if you don't have any coding knowledge or whatsoever. So basically, why should you have a website? So the website, why an individual website gives you some sort of instant credibility that people know that you are good, that you are good for it, and you are basically uh, that you are serious about it, and they get some information about you. And if you're sort of looking for a job in a company or or something like that, this basically this gives them some sort of CV which is online, so they can just look it up any day and anytime they want.
Mhm.
And the third thing is that you can promote yourself if you are if you're looking to collaborate with someone and do a project or something like that. Then the other party can know that what you're good at, and it's basically an online CV of yourself, which and anybody can look up at whenever they want. So how do you make a website? So you could make a website if you're doing if you're doing it how should I say it, if you're a perfectionist and you want to go to the nitty gritty details of the website, then you can use coding languages like C++ or Python. Or if you don't want to code and you are not a coding geek, I would say, then you could use Wix or Squarespace or GoDaddy. But I used Google Sites for making my websites for many reasons. One basically being it is free. For any other website like Wix, GoDaddy, and Squarespace, I needed to pay for it, and I was not basically I didn't want to pay for it, so I used Google Sites. So when you're using Google Sites, you will when you search for Google Sites, you will have this as the front page, and you have many different templates that you can choose from. I have made till now 3 websites using Google Sites, and maybe I'll make more, or maybe I'll start
Uh,
using codes.
we can say give back to the community and Noida
Uh,
Elegance. Yeah, both of
Yeah,
them.
so this is the new website I'm making. This is basically my student portfolio, which may help me, which will help me a lot when I'm applying for jobs and all those things. So how do you basically make a website? I chose this template, a student portfolio template, and I've written my name on it. I haven't started much or anything. But when you're making a website, one of the most important things is going to be a custom domain. You don't want to when a person is searching, they won't have to search like sites.google.in.whr or something like that. You may just buy a domain. You will have to buy a domain, which is basically a custom domain that you can connect to the website builder that you are using, basically like Wix or something like that. For this domain, I used GoDaddy, which is basically popular in India here, and it is and it is cheap. You can use Google. Google also has many domains that you can use, or you can use Wix or whichever website builder you're using. Most website builders allow you to buy a domain from them. So I have basically bought 3 domains until now, which is one for Give Back to Community, one for the Rotary Club, and one for my student portfolio. So I used GoDaddy, so I had to basically use Google's. I had to connect Google Sites and GoDaddy, the custom domain from them. Sorry. So the so for selecting basically for connecting your website for your custom domain to your website, use this setup domain from third party, and in which you have to verify your ownership that the custom domain that you're using belongs to you. And then you have to basically add it in this DNS records. I had to use a text record for adding this, for verifying my ownership. And then I had to use a CNAME record so that Google, and then when I typed www.dhruvashna.in, I could use, then it would, then my website would show up. Yeah, so that's how you make a website in simple terms. You can also, basically, you can use this sidebar here for all the things you need. Like if you want to insert some text box images or links, then you can use that here. Or you want to add pages or different, basically hyperlinks to go to next page or some other pages like about me, or basically what you're going to do, your education or something like that. You can use different pages on one. Yeah.
So I think there is one question, Dhruv.
Yeah.
That's what is the third party? Yeah. Is there a link for that? Maybe you can explain that a little more.
Basically the third party is that here in this case, I didn't buy a domain from Google itself. So I needed a base. When you're making a website, you normally always use a custom domain, so that when a person is searching for the website, it shows up in an instant and not some hotspots like sites.google.com and / or something like that. So that was your www.dhruvashna.in, which I bought from GoDaddy. That is the third party here, which I had to basically connect to.
Okay, so you have
made
the website on Google site, or
Yeah.
basically the content is there on Google sites, but
Yeah.
that content needs to get integrated with that third party domain, which is basically from GoDaddy, and in that way, basically your URL, which is www.dhruvashna.in, can be immediately visible and people can see the entire content which is there on the Google site. So it's basically linking the third party domain with the Google site information which you have created for yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any
questions?
So there is a question from Kiran where she says that, can you show some of the features of Google sites?
No, slides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Google sites, right? Just a second.
Yeah.
I'll just stop sharing. Just a minute.
You would have to share it through.
Yeah, I'm just sharing my. Just a second.
So by the way,
just need
Dhruv,
to basically get a Google slide,
Yeah.
and then from
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, this is basically the Google site. So this is basically the header, basically the front, the home page.
Okay.
So now I could add more pages here, which is basically classes or school year or activities, which I have participated in, or some projects I've participated in. Or I could use, basically add pictures here, a calendar. You could also use any of the Google the Google Docs, the Google Slide Sheets, forms, anything, and add them here. And then you have different themes that you can choose from. Like I am using Diplomat here. You could maybe go for Simple or Aristotle. And there are there are also a number of things you can embed into the website, like a button which is basically a link to some other website or some other web page, and And these are all basically content blocks you can use, which is basically this. Yeah, that's what all you can use. Google Sites is kind of basic compared to Wix and GoDaddy or Squarespace.
Are there any I mean, is there any is there a disadvantage? Like, I mean, is there anything that like, I mean, for example,
There is not such a disadvantage. Like, if you basically want to go hi-fi on the design and all those things, then you should use Wix or something like that, which are a bit costly for making a website. If you're making a very professionally and you're working for a big company, then you may want to use something like Wix or directly go hardcore into coding or something like that.
no, we are not into coding. I meant a person like me and Shubham may want to work on a website soon. So, like, if we just had to go with something simple, so Google Slides is
Google Sites is best because it's free.
Okay, so
You
it's
don't have
free.
to pay for anything. You just have to pay for the domain, which is you have to buy a domain. So you know that nobody else can use the name of the website.
So if you went back to for example, give back to the community, you had put some external things. Can you just show us that website and how you had hyperlinked those links into that? How did you do the embedding?
Yeah,
I mean, I could have asked for a one-on-one coaching, but I think a lot of other people will actually benefit from this session. So if it's okay with you to give us some time on it.
Just a second. So if you go to the footer here, I basically just it shows an option that you want to basically add something or like that. Maybe the website, basically you use a button. Basically, it's somewhat like a button or an embed tag, which you can see here. So you can add a link here. Basically, if I wanted to, there is nothing here. Like if Give Back to Community had an Instagram page,
can you put it?
I could.
Let's put a LinkedIn.
What?
LinkedIn.
You should use this.
Okay. So if you wanted to put a LinkedIn.
Okay, LinkedIn. So I'll just put here right now for that. LinkedIn, I just need to the link name, the link basically.
Just a minute, I will just share with you.
And the media section that we had created, so how are we updating, or like how can we keep adding more and more things into our like recently there was a newspaper article which come out, so I would like to know that how are we adding how can we keep adding?
So here I just made a collage of them and pasted it here. So I made the collage on Word basically.
Oh, okay.
And then I just added, and then I deleted the previous collage and put it here. Then put the new one here.
So for example, recently there was a new newspaper article which was about which has to be updated. So how would that be done? That means you would have to again do it again.
Yeah,
or
I would
not add new?
No, the thing about doing that is if you just take one photo now. So I would have to make. So this is the reason why Google Sites is a bit basic here. So I can't make a collage on the Google Sites. It would take this whole space. I can't make it like. I couldn't do this. It would take the whole thing.
Okay.
Therefore, I have to make it on a website.
Okay.
On a Word or something like that.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Dhruv, I've shared on the chat window the link of LinkedIn, which is there for Give Back to Community. You may want to just add it
and then
there so that
we can see
everyone could see it.
And can two people manage a Google like this one, the Give Back to Community, like you are managing it? Can a second person be also managing it, where two people can actually add content?
Yeah, I can. Okay. Yeah, I can share. Basically, you can see here. Basically, I can share my.
Okay, got it.
Editing.
Okay, so you can allow someone else to edit.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I understand. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it went to Instagram. Doesn't matter. That's perfect. You can do it later. I understand it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
Thank you.
then there was a question from Shubham where he wanted to know that how the hosting needs to be linked to the Google site. There is also hosting of
The GoDaddy. How do we get that sorted?
Oh, I told you, you need to use the DNS records basically.
So what is DNS records?
I'll just show you that.
Yes.
So you can see the GoDaddy account.
Okay.
So basically, when you buy a domain, like give back to community here. So when you buy, there are something like DNS records, which basically show what Google or any web hosting service has to do with your website. Like
Okay.
what should it do? So I can't maybe show DNS records, I think here, but
Okay,
in
no
the just a second. This you can see the DNS records here.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically, you need to add if you're using. I use Google Sites, so I had to put some records in the DNS records so that it can link up with the Google Sites.
So that's
One
basically
was
a database. That's basically a database where you put your particular URL also, or that domain name, so that on the internet, if anyone checks it, it basically pops up from there.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're adding your details in the DNS, so that's in the database of the entire website community which is there.
शुभम और क्या questions हैं हमारे?
Go to sleep.
So
Yeah.
what is the advantage of Google site? Like we directly can work on Wix or
The main advantage is that Google Sites is free.
Free.
The biggest advantage is that Google Sites is free. You just need a Google account, which is also free. So you basically don't have to put any money on it. Just buying a domain, which you have to do for any website. But any other website builder you will use, like Wix or Squarespace, you will have to pay monthly for the website, for the website builder.
Take it. Got it. Excellent. And
Yeah, Dhruv. So,
Amit,
yeah,
Yeah.
what I have got means we just to avoid the hosting of this Wix or the GoDaddy, we can use Google site because it is free. We can purchase the domain from the that and then do the hosting here at the Google site. Am I right, Dhruv?
Yeah. You can also buy if you're using Wix or Squarespace, and if you want something a bit more classy or something like that, then you could pay for Wix or some Wix, and you could buy a domain from Wix as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought a domain just I think 1 month back, ssskinners.in, and the hosting charges was near about 160 rupees per month. So means it is going to yearly it is going to be something like that. So if it Google site is there because it's going to be very primary, means not a very, so I think it's a good option. I think you saved
It's a
my
good
money.
option. It's basically that's the reason why I use Google Sites. It is a good cost effective ratio.
Okay.
And last thing, Dhruv, means if suppose website is already created, even then for the hosting, can we bring that to the Google site or not?
You can see if you have already bought a domain, and maybe you have already made a website, and you can connect them again. You can connect them, no problem. And if you want to connect it to a new website, you can also do that.
Right.
You may have to just delete it from the previous website, the content you were using.
I need to delete previous content now. Only then I can bring it on Google site.
So you will have to, because you can't, if you type in your URL, it can't show two things, right? It can only show one thing. That's what the domain is for. It's your URL address, and address will only show one thing.
No, I'm not asking that. Suppose website is created, content is already there. If I'm hosting on Google site, I need to delete previous content and then create new.
No,
or
no,
I
no.
can just edit that.
No. You can, whatever content is already there, you can link it with your domain.
Right.
Hmm.
Thank you, Dhruv. Thank you.
You don't need to delete the content.
Yeah.
शुभम कोई questions है हमारे?
Go to sleep.
Okay, good.
So
Anyone?
Devesa, Dhruv is telling all of us that we all should have our own website.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's it. Tomorrow. Tomorrow it's going to come up. Watch it.
Go and buy the domain.
Tomorrow.
It will. It's best to make your own website, because in the future, not many people are going to be even using paper, I think. And most website and most companies don't look at your social media accounts except LinkedIn. And you can, if you can search up an employee or a prospective employee, just by typing their name, it gives you extra credibility.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that we agree. We're all into the credibility part of it. Hence, we will be making a website. But I think this was a very valuable session. Thank you so much to Elegance Rotary for organizing this, and Dhruv Varshney for sharing his insights on this website development. I think we are absolutely privileged to hear, and I think the end product is not listening, but it's going to be making. And I think tomorrow itself, the Give Back to the Community is going to be embarking on their next project, and we will be working on this whole thing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for asking right questions. I'm sure Dhruv would also learn a lot from it in terms of that how he needs to really prepare himself. Because
you
he may not
learn. You only learn once you have taught something.
And absolutely, and we will be asking for some private coaching sessions also. We will be more than happy to pay for it from the Give Back to the Community Trust. We will need some sessions on privately on how to do these websites for us. Thank you so much.
And Dr. Anamika is asking that what is the difference between web design and web development?
So the web development and web design thing is, if you're into coding basically and you want to make it from scratch, then all the backend that the database it is using and the database it needs to use or any links it uses is web development basically, and basically taking information and putting it somewhere, storing it basically is all web development. And web designing is basically which you use the Google Sites or any website builder for to make it look good. So that images look good.
Web design is like a subset of web development. Can we say in that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the help of HTML.
Yeah, you can use HTML to create a website, no problem.
But
it will be long. It will be definitely more complicated. You would using HTML basically is like you would get maybe 10,000s of lines of code you'll have to make if you're making a proper website. So you would need to know basically need to know the syntax of HTML. Plus so it's basically it's not a very cost-effective thing to do. If you can get a lot of code from net also, no problem. You could use Bootstrap or something like that. It basically like it's basically demos of codes basically, so you can copy directly from there, but you will have to do a lot of things, so it's not very cost effective to do. Using Google Sites or something like Wix basically is much easier to do.
Shubham, what options do we have for the website design that we are looking at currently? Which options are we looking at? Maybe we should ask Dhruv for some advice on that.
So what we can do also, that we can keep a separate session.
We were absolutely going to finish on time. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dhruv, for your time.
No, so let's do that. I think there is one last question we can take, which is there a plugin options available in Google Sites?
Yeah, like what exactly is in a plugin? Can you just expand on that? Like what you're looking to?
Like to optimize the website, there is options like SEO plugins separately in the main website. I think in GoDaddy also there is option. So is there any format for Google Sites, or like
No,
we
I
have
don't
to?
think I'm not familiar with plugins that much, so I'm not very sure on the topic there. But I have never had to use plugins, so I don't think it will be available on Google Sites. It may be there on Google Analytics. You may have to check there, or
Okay.
otherwise you can use the GoDaddy or fix something like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much, Dhruv, for your insightful session. I think that was really great. And thank you, Kiran, Shubham, Soumitra, and Dr. Anamika for asking many questions around that, how we can build website. And I think that was really a great way for really making sure that even our youths are able to take advantage of this session. So this becomes like two-way street, right? So thank you so much. And I would separately ask Dhruv to connect with Shubham, Kiran, in terms of to have a separate session where he can help in terms of whatever is required to make this website, new websites which they are looking for. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bhupendraji. I just didn't realize that you are also there. Thank you so much, Bhupendraji, for joining, and everyone else who have been there. Anuj, Janvi, Shilpa, Dr. Anamika, everyone being here and making sure that they are motivating our youths in terms of to keep doing well and making sure that they are continuously on this path of learning. So so with this we come to the close to our session, and next month we will have some new exciting discussions, and we will have new youth leaders who would be talking about some new topics. So thank you, everyone, and wishing you a great evening and a great Sunday ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Devesh. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. So, okay. So with this, I'm